Remember when Microsoft released Windows 11? And one of the core, if not the core hardware requirement for installing Windows 11 was TPM. You had to have that good old trusted platform module in your computer to be able to install Windows 11. It didn't matter if your CPU was up to snuff, if you had enough RAM, if your video card was awesome enough. It didn't matter. If you didn't have that TPM, the right version of the TPM in there, you were up a creek without a paddle. And sure, there were people out there trying their best to hack around it, and there was tutorials on how to do this or do that to kind of trick Windows 11 to install on a TPM-less computer. But the requirement held. But now, all of a sudden, Microsoft appears to be lessening up on that, just out of nowhere. They have just published a support document entitled Installing Windows 11 on Devices That Don't Meet Minimum System Requirements. You can find this at support.microsoft.com. It reads, and I quote, "Installing Windows 11 on a device that doesn't meet the Windows 11 minimum system requirements isn't recommended. If Windows 11 is installed on ineligible hardware, you should be comfortable assuming the risk of running into compatibility issues. A device might malfunction. It could come alive and eat your newborn baby. You just don't know." It goes on to say, "The following disclaimer applies if Windows 11 is installed on a device that doesn't meet the minimum system requirements. This PC doesn't meet the minimum requirements. You may not get updates, blah, 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 blah. By selecting accept, you are acknowledging that you read and understand the statement." So what they're basically doing is now, instead of not allowing you to install Windows 11 on a TPM-less machine, they are forcing you to accept, hit the accept button on this disclaimer that says, yes, I know I don't mean the system requirements. And those system requirements are really specific. If you go to the Microsoft.com system requirements page, what they're really talking about here is TPM, Trusted Platform Module version 2.0. Now, what's really funny about this is just a week ago, December 3rd, it's December 9th as we're talking right now. So 6 days ago, Stephen Hosking from over at Microsoft wrote at on the Microsoft blog, quote, "TPM 2.0, a necessity for a secure and future-proof Windows 11. This was just a few days ago. And I'm just going to read a few quotes where they were, as of days ago, doubling, if not tripling down on TPM as a requirement. Quote, "With Windows 10 end of support approaching, it's important to revisit a key minimum system requirement for Windows 11. Trusted Platform Module, TPM 2.0. He then goes on to talk about how 2.0 is rad, and 2.0 fixed the economy, and 2.0, I think, cured tuberculosis. You're scrolling down. Oh, yeah, yes, no, I see that. TPM saved the failing auto industry. Yep. And you keep going down here a ways, and you get to this line. Quote, "By instituting TPM 2.0 as a non-negotiable standard for the future of Windows, blah, 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 we save everyone's firstborn child." But then just 6 days later, nah, you know what? If you choose to install it on a computer that doesn't have it, it's fine. You just have to click the accept button. What happened? Did the guy who wrote that blog post, did he know that this was coming? Or is this it just came out of nowhere? I mean, it's a little bit surprising. Now, they obviously aren't lightening up to the extent where they're relenting and saying, okay, we aren't asking you had to have a TPM anymore. They still want you to have that TPM installed because Microsoft invented the Trusted Platform Module. It's theirs. They want you to have it. But now they're saying, yeah, you can install Windows on a TPM-less computer. Why? Why backpedal like that now, right? The backlash has already happened, right? People were pissed off about that leading up to the Windows launch, during the Windows launch, in the early days of Windows 11, people were moaning and complaining about TPM. Now they're at the point where people have just kind of accepted it. Right now, most people are like, okay, fine, forget it. If I want Windows 11, I'll have a computer with TPM on it. End of story. I'll move forward. And while it's still annoying, and I still think it's ridiculous, Now they're backpedaling. Now Microsoft is saying, okay, we'll make it a little easier for you to install, but we still won't feel like supporting you, so you probably shouldn't. You have to click an extra button that says agree. Well, they did. One, why didn't they do that before? That would have been a much better move to have done it before. Two, why do it now? Why do it 47 bazillion years after the launch of Windows 11, after the hubbub around it has died down? The only thing that this does is reminds people that TPM was a thing that was annoying us, right? It's like they're just bringing up the bad things they've done in the past and saying, you remember that bad thing we did that you almost forgot about? Yeah, we're going to make that 3% less awful. Only 3% less awful, though, so you're welcome. You're welcome. Now they're just going to remind us all that the TPM thing existed at all. And they're still saying that they kind of reserve the right to not give you any updates if you don't have TPM because they don't like you very much and you didn't use their nice TPM piece of hardware. Thank you. Please go away. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't understand the motivation for now. I truly don't. I mean, I asked the question in the title of this show that they lightened up about TPM, but why? And that's not to lead you on to a cliffhanger where I'm going to supply the answer all of a sudden. I genuinely have no idea. It doesn't make marketing sense. It's not good PR. Those aren't not at this point. From a hardware standpoint, unless there was a hardware partner that needed to do bulk installs of Windows 11 on TPM free hardware, I don't see this as being a likely thing. And I can't think of who that would be. Now, you can point to plenty of competitors of Microsoft's and say, well, they're doing this so that Windows 11 is going to get better traction on machines against competitors like Valve with Steam and Apple with macOS and Linux and blah, 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 blah. But really, I don't know that this makes any headway against any of their competitors, right? I don't think someone who's a Mac user is going to go, oh, I don't need TPM anymore. I can just click the agree button and then maybe I won't get updates. Well, now I'm going to switch from my Mac OS over to Windows. No Mac user is going to do that. No Linux user is going to go, oh, I can click an agree button and install without TPM. Well, shoot, forget this Ubuntu and Debian Linux. I'm going to Windows 11. No Linux user is going to do that. No Steam OS user is going to do that. Like, I don't see what they gain here. It's bizarre and it's weird. But just the same, if you want to install Windows 11 on a TPM free computer, it is now a teeny tiny bit easier for you to do it, even though Microsoft told you they would never allow you to do it 6 days ago. So there you go. Ain't that neat? Thank you to the Lunduke Journal subscribers. Lunduke.com. I got a frog in my throat. Go to Lunduke.com and click on things. It's amazing when you click on things. Universal resource locators are rad. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, nerds and nerdettes across the inner tubes, I need a water. I do declare and broadcast.